Continue our coverage here of the Sean Combs verdict in his sex trafficking trial. The one-time global hip-hop titan was acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking. He was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, the verdict is seen as a win for the Combs team, but he didn't call a single witness to testify here.
Combs will remain in jail until his sentence. We understand that will be sometime in the fall. The judge denied bail late this afternoon. Joining us live right now to talk about this, defense attorney and former federal prosecutor Manny Medrano. Manny, thanks so much for joining us.
Hello, Colleen. Hello, Michael.
Hey.
Sean was convicted of the 2 lesser charges here. Would those typically be bailable offenses? Were you surprised when the judge denied bail?
I wasn't surprised at all, Colleen, that the judge denied bail for this defendant because the 2 charges he was convicted of, transportation of prostitutes, are serious felony federal charges, okay, which don't generally lend themselves to getting out on bail. So I think no surprise at all, the judge earlier today in New York saying, no, you're a flight risk and you're a danger to the community. You have propensity for violence. You're a drug user. You put all that together, Colleen, there's no way the judge was going to let him out of custody right now.
Yeah, to follow up with what you just said, obviously the judge did deny bail. He said he wasn't convinced that Combs wouldn't be a danger to others. How does language like that and the judge's sentiment play into the sentencing that's headed here this fall? Well,
it plays in this way, Michael. Sentencing for this defendant is still 3, 4, 5 months away, and no date has been set for that yet. But you can take this to the bank. The federal prosecutors in their sentencing brief to the judge are going to remind the judge of all the bad things that Combs did in this particular allegations in the superseding indictment. So the judge is going to be reminded of everything. And frankly, he heard all the testimony. Here's another thing that our viewers don't realize. Even though he was acquitted for racketeering and the sex trafficking, that evidence can still be considered by the federal judge when he sentences Combs in 3 to 5 months down the road. So this is not probation. He ain't going to get probation. He's looking for at least 4 to 5 years in federal prison, in my opinion.
Clearly, the defense was disappointed with the fact there was no bail today. Is that something they can appeal in the next couple of weeks?
They can, but you know what? It's a waste of time and money. That dog won't hunt. It's just not going to work. No, the judge repeatedly, you may recall, Colleen, the judge repeatedly has denied the defense request for bail. So no, an appellate court would be loath to overrule the judge's opinion, a decision on that issue. And here's another important thing. There's one key reason the government is heartbroken over losing the serious charges today. Had Combs been convicted of racketeering, the government could have come in and seized Combs' various assets. Well, now forfeiture is off the table since the defendant was acquitted on those serious charges.
You know, Manny, you're a defense attorney. How confident do you really have to be to not call a single witness?
Well, I got to tell you, brilliant, and hats off to the defense in this case, because as you said, Michael, not a single defense witness in 6 weeks of jury trial, 34 witnesses called, all prosecution witnesses, and Diddy Combs did not take the stand. But here's how the defense was able to prevail in this case. On cross-examination of the key witnesses, especially the female victims, the defense hammered away with those victims, including showing them text after text where they express in the text messages their enthusiasm and excitement for participating in the sex parties. That really undermined the government's case here.
Manny, going back to what happened in court today, if you take into consideration that he has no prior history, they're the 2 of the 5 lesser charges here, and time served will be at that point when he comes up for sentencing over a year. Is it possible those will mitigate the maximum sentence?
Yes and no. No, in this sense, Colleen. I really predict a 4 to 5 year at a minimum federal sentence for Diddy Combs in this case, okay? And that's because under the federal sentencing guidelines, these are very serious charges. Plus, even though Combs was acquitted of racketeering and the other serious charges, the judge could consider that other conduct in his sentence. So the government is going to really come in swinging hard, demanding a very lengthy sentence for this defendant. But no matter what, let's say the defendant's in custody for 1 year before he's actually sentenced, he would get credit for that 1 year, no matter what the sentence is. But to reiterate a key thing, Diddy Combs is not getting probation in this case. I would be stunned if that happens here.
All right, Manny Medrano, as always, we appreciate your expertise. Thanks for your time here tonight.
Thank you.